Well, just because a bunch of people believe something, that doesn't make it right. It wouldn't be the first time the fans have backed the wrong horse, JR.
United Kingdom's William Regal never fails to impress me with his toughness, his fire, and his resiliency. There aren't two like him in all of sports entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Regal's a real man, all right. Didn't we fight the Revolutionary War to kick the English out of America?
Man, would you look at the size and the speed of Umaga? I've never seen a superstar that big move so quickly.
No kidding. He really is a Samoan bulldozer.
Yeah, that's what they call him. And damned if I can find a better description. You don't want to get on this man's bad side. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can, JR. And I don't think we'd have it any other way.
I'd love to see you or anyone else try to get Regal out of this country, King. I think
there's all sorts of crazy stuff under the ring, and all of it can inflict a lot of damage on an opponent.
Good grief! I don't care how tough you are. A chair shot is a chair shot.
You can't take too many of those and expect to continue. It's like he read his opponent's mind.
His opponent's down, and now he's sharing a piece of his mind.
He's gonna have to eat those words by the end of this match, JR. You're assuming that he's got another side, JR. I'm not gonna take any chances. I'm just gonna stay out of his way. Man, I don't mind telling you, JR, this Umaga scares the heck out of me.
He's a savage. He's primal, a carnivore, like some kind of wild animal. His opponent is helpless, and he's taking full advantage.
Wow! That's one of the biggest chest slaps I've ever seen! Or heard! He's able to dominate his opponent like this, JR. He's got this match half won.
A blow to the chest like that one can knock all the wind right out of a superstar.
You know, JR, everyone goes on and on about how great the Undertaker is. But I think he's overrated. It takes more than black lights and some dry ice to impress me. One thing is, I thought our seats were good before, JR. But now the action's almost in our laps.
A little too close for my King. I wish they'd take us back into the ring.
Yeah, and if he wasn't competing in the WWE, they'd probably have him locked up in a cage and charge admission just to see him.
It doesn't matter who Umaga's in the ring against or how I feel about them personally. I pity them. These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, and that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might wind up risking your...
I hope he's not looking for a weapon. That could do some serious damage. Oh, man! That'll leave you hurting for certain.
You're not kidding, JR. That'll leave your head ringing for sure. Watch out! He reversed it.
Come on! Somebody's got to take that away from him.
Hey, if the referee doesn't stop it, it's all legal.
I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you? Oh my gosh! Head first into the table, over and over.
And there's no give to that table whatsoever. That skull will crack before the table does. And here's some good old-fashioned headbanging.
Oh man, I don't think I've ever seen anyone come back from something like this.
What a reversal.
So, JR, are you enjoying the match so far?
Yes, I am. I think these superstars are putting on one hell of an exhibition here tonight.
What's your favorite part of it so far?
I don't think it's happened yet. My favorite part of the match will be when you quit yapping and let me enjoy it.
Now, JR, keep your words soft and sweet because you may have to eat them later.
Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. I know what you mean, JR. I don't even know if Umaga understands the whole concept of winning a match. I think he just hits his opponent until they don't get up anymore.
And I don't care how tough you are, after going a few rounds with the Samoan bulldozer, not getting up must start to seem like a pretty good idea. A reversal. Can he capitalize on it?
You gotta respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices than any other professional athlete I know.
It really is like being married to your career. There's not much room for anything else.
And marriage is a subject which you happen to be something of an authority. Isn't that right, King?
Come on now, JR. A man doesn't know what true happiness is until he's married. And then it's too late. I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's gonna go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that would be no easy feat.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear.
Man, JR, I've been watching the Great Khali since he made his entrance, and I still can't get over the size of this guy.
That makes two of us, King. And I'm sure we're all familiar with the old expression, size isn't everything. But when you have as much of it as this monster, I don't know what else could possibly matter. King, if you had to get in the ring against the Great Khali, first of all, I'd say boomer sooner and good luck. But what would be your strategy?
Well, first I'd make sure my insurance was paid up. Then I'd come to the ring in my running shoes and hope for a quick counter.
I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You gotta keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't... Oh, my! Looks like someone's been busted wide open. This can't be good.
You're right. It's not good. It's great! They're not holding anything back.
We knew these superstars weren't going to be easy on each other, but this is too much.
These superstars sure are going easy on each other here tonight.
What'd you expect, King? This isn't ballet, you know.
Oh, really, JR? Gosh, tell me more about your in-ring experience.
Well, I've got a pinfall victory over Triple H to my credit. How about you?
Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job. Boy, when you look at these superstars, it really drives home the fact that Raw is the dominant brand of sports entertainment.
Well, there's no doubt about that, JR. There's not a superstar on the Smackdown roster who could hold a candle to Raw's finest.
I wouldn't go that far, King. There are quite a few Smackdown superstars who I'd love to have on there.
Oh, come on, JR. Why would you want to lower?
We've got to be nearing the end, King. I don't know how much these superstars have to give.
Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
The spirit may be willing, but the flesh is weak. I don't think any human being could keep this up for long in that condition. This capacity crowd is making their opinions known to... I think we're beginning to see the effects of this very tough, very physical matchup on these contestants. I think fatigue is setting here, King. I don't think this is going to last too much longer.
I don't think these superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King. And quite frankly, I think these fans will be disappointed if they didn't go. He must be looking for a weapon of some kind.
Wow! Did you see the way that light bulb just exploded?
I sure did, King. This one's turned downright nasty.
So, I'll tell you, JR, it's rough to get to a point in a match where you want to keep going, but you just don't have anything left. And I think that's what's happening here.
I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the First Amendment, JR. After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE superstars are trained professionals.
And even they don't walk away from every match in the best shape.
They sure don't. We've seen more than one superstar taken out of here on a stretcher.
Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's gonna go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the only exercise you get is stretching the truth or jumping to conclusions.
Well, Judging from the shape I'm in, I don't appear to be doing too much of either, King. You're looking pretty fit, though, I must say.
Oh, boy. These fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
It looks like they've slowed the match down a little, and I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted with the old expression, fools rush in.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
I think I've eaten a little too much good Oklahoma barbecue in my day, King, to hurry anywhere.
See, JR, this is exactly why Raw is the #1 brand in all of sports entertainment.
You're absolutely right, King. We've got the best superstars, the best fans,
and the best announced team. Don't forget that.
I was going to say that until you interrupted me. Now I'm just hoping I haven't lost Taz's phone.
I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes with the price of admission.
JR's not going to be happy about this one, folks. I think
He's really making an attempt to get under his opponent's skin. Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? Well then, why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way! I can already tell this is going to be a great match, and I don't want to ruin the ending for you.
You're too kind, King. You're also full of horse manure, as far as I can tell.
I think I know who's going to win this match, but I don't want to say. I'm afraid I'll jinx it.
Come on, King. Don't tell me you're superstitious.
Of course not, JR. I'm not superstitious because I know that's unlucky. These superstars are putting on a great match so far, JR. But if they drop the ball,
Oh man, what a shot from that foreign object!
what are you talking about, JR? I'm almost sure that was made in America. Wow! If he keeps this up, this could be over quick.
He's certainly not showing his opponent any mercy here tonight. Good Lord, what an impact!
That's the way to do it. Keep going. I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
How could you not be, King? These are some of the finest athletes.
Oh, man, the casket's the last place you want to be in this match. Boy, it's obvious these superstars have done their homework on each other.
They sure have. And this is one hell of an exam.
Let's hope it's not their final exam, JR. I'd love to see them go at it again.
Well, if I think the fans have their way, you'll get your wish, King.
You can look at any professional sport you want, JR, and you won't find more incredible athletes than the WWE superstars.
You're not wrong, King. They compete every week until they are physically incapable of continuing. There's no off-season in the WWE.
We're not talking about running a ball down a field or slapping a puck into a net. This is serious physical competition.
It sure is. The toughest athletes in the world are on the WWE.
I think the end is near, JR. This can't go on much longer. I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand here tonight.
I think you're right, King. These superstars seem intent on taking each other to the limit.
I love that attitude, JR. Go big or go home.
Well, these superstars sure aren't going home until... What a shot! You can't take too many of those and expect to stay in this.
I don't even want to think about what that feels like, JR.
I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Here's your winner, The Undertaker.